Welcome back to 7,000 Volts Living an Electrified Life. Thank you for joining me. Today, we're going to talk about building a strong business foundation. I know in the last episode we talked about we were talking about trees and the root system of a strong foundation, but I'm going to shift my focus now to a business strong foundation. Because a lot of stuff you can read in books, you can take classes, you can get your degree, well, a lot of practical stuff. We said in the last episode that knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit, and wisdom is knowing not to put it in a tropical fruit salad. So this is what I want to focus on. Knowledge and knowing, wisdom and knowing what not to do at the time. It's like a poker game. You got to know when to hold them, you got to know when to fold them. In business, as complicated as it may seem, it's really not as hard as it may seem. You have to have a focus. You got to have a definite purpose. You have to have a vision of where you're going in business. And once you define that vision, then business for you just got that much simpler. You're starting the building block. You're starting that foundation of where you need to be. The value of business decisions. Well, I don't care what book you read, even my book, 7,000 Volts Living an Electrified Life, that's coming out here pretty soon. Be sure to pre-order your copy on my website at ljtucker.com. But that's besides the fact. Regardless of what book you read, it's going to have very little impact if you don't have the wisdom to apply what you read at the right certain time. Some things you can't read, you're not going to get it in a degree. It's just practical in the field experience. And last week, a couple weeks ago, and just throughout being in business, there's always decisions to be made as a business owner when you're working and when you're not working. Because like a good chess player, you're always thinking 7 to 8 moves ahead or even more. Again, you can't find this stuff in the book. You can watch all the YouTube videos that you want, but when you're in-game experience, whether it's a basketball, baseball, or football game, you have to make decisions, split-second decisions, because stuff is going to happen. And you overcome it by having a strong foundation, knowing your morals and your values, knowing your vision of what you stand for, and the decisions that's going to have to be made when you have a piece of equipment breakdown in the middle of nowhere. How strong is your contact list? How strong is your support team to help you get you out of that jam that you just currently find yourself in? When you have employees that are not showing up to work, or they're giving other people a hard time, or giving you a hard time, how do you handle that? What do you do? Do you throw the baby out with the bathwater because they don't see your vision, or they're crying and they won't stop? No, you have to figure out a way through wisdom. You have the knowledge of what to do, and maybe a book you read said you should do this, but it's not practical for the situation you're currently in. How do you handle it? You handle it through wisdom, and every situation is going to be different. Because, why did I say that? There's probably thousands, if not millions, maybe not millions, maybe there is, I just don't know, but there's thousands of ways that you can make an apple pie. Everybody's recipe is the same, is different, it's not the same. There's 1,000 different ways to make a cake or bake a cake. There's all different kind of cakes. I like red velvet cheesecake. I like German chocolate cake. I like vanilla buttercream cake. What kind of cake do you like? The question is, we're not going to make the cake the same way. And so it's going to be different results in how you deal with people in certain circumstances. And Lord knows in business, you're going to be faced with plenty of those decisions to make. You've heard me mention this before with mitigating business and how you prepare for the future, and it's through SWOT analysis. That's important. And SWOT analysis means strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. SWOT, SWOT analysis. And when you do that on a consistent basis, a SWOT analysis on your business, maybe some of you know, I'm sure some of you already heard of that before, or maybe this has been introduced to you for the first time by hearing it on this podcast. A SWOT analysis allows you to ensure the survival of your business. It ensures that you're going to be successful in your business because you're taking necessary steps to ensure that you're competing and putting yourself and your business in a good position to succeed. Again, these are some of the things that you can read in the book. Some of the fundamental stuff that gives you the knowledge. But the knowledge and the wisdom is two separate things. You're going to need the wisdom along with the knowledge, and you got to apply it at the right time. Some of the things you deal with it is even when you get new equipment under warranty. I remember on one of my tractors, brand new tractor, probably less than a year old, well, the muffler went bad on it. It fell off. And so I called the dealer. They said, well, you can send it in. We're probably 2 or 3 weeks out. The knowledge is knowing that they can fix this free. And also the knowledge was knowing that I could be without this equipment for 2 or 3 weeks. And so the wisdom part of me kicked in and said, hey, just pay to have the thing fixed, which costs you a few $100. How much is it going to cost you if you're without that piece of equipment for 2 or 3 weeks? So at that point, it was a no-brainer. It's an easy decision to make. You just bite the bullet and say, oh, well, I'll fix it and be done with it. Are they going to reimburse me? No, because they have protocols that they have to follow. You have to bring it to them. They have to make sure why it broke. They want to analyze why it broke. And sometimes you don't have time for that. And that's when the wisdom kicks in. And like you fix it and you keep moving, so you have no downtime. You fix it immediately or do different channels. That's just one aspect of growing a successful business, building a strong foundation for that business. Now, one of the main aspects of building a strong business is knowing when you've outgrown a customer. It's the same as knowing when you've outgrown a friend or a family member and you're in a different season. And there's nothing wrong with it, because there's times that it's just not going to work anymore with a customer, their demands, or the level that you're moving onto in your business. I want to make sure I'm saying that correctly and you understand what I'm saying. And it's not that you ever want to lose a customer, but sometimes a customer gets into a place in life that there's nothing you're going to be able to do to help them, vice versa. And you move to a certain place in your business where it's not even affordable to keep a certain customer because they may or may not want certain discounts that you can't afford to give. I remember a documentary I just watched a few days ago. I think it was titled MoviePass, and it showed how the customer, but the business owner, he didn't have working capital, and because he didn't have working capital, he had investors get involved, and these investors got involved, and they funded money. But once they started funding him money, they wanted more control, and once they took more control, they was able to generate more buzz, but at the same time, it was changing the values of what the original founder wanted. And because of this, his input got overlooked, and they actually wound up firing him and said, you still got your stock options. And what, if I'm remembering this correctly, what happened was, before they fired him, they said, hey, listen, we're not going to be able to sustain at this rate that we're doing. We have to raise the prices, because they were getting the charge back. They were paying more for the movies that these people would go and see. I don't know how many people are familiar with the MoviePass, but the founders of the MoviePass is out of New York. There's two guys, they put this thing together where you can prepay and pay $10 a month for a MoviePass, and you can go see many as movies as you want. Well, if you're paying $10 a month and you can go see unlimited movies, the downside was that the movie company was not giving this company a break. And they were paying more. Like, you have one person going to see 20 movies a month, and they're only paying $10, and the company itself was paying $100 a month for this one person that's only paying $10 a month. The math didn't add up. So, of course, the company didn't make it. And it went filed Chapter 13 in bankruptcy because the people, the guys that were running the company was just, oh, we can get more volume in. We'll just get more people to sign up. And they got more people to sign up, but it still was the same thing. They were only paying $10 a month. And these people that sign up, you got over 1 million. Now you got 1 million customers paying $10 a month. And so you're basically making $100 million a month, but you're paying out $150 million. So you was always in the negative because it didn't balance. The books wasn't balanced. So you wasn't making enough to take care of the bills. And that's very important in business. You have to be able to overcome regardless of the relationship and how much you like the customer. If you have those customers that you like and you always gave a certain discount, but now you have employees that you're not a one-man operation or one-person operation anymore, and it costs you more, then it's a no-brainer. You have to charge more. I have customers say this to me all the time. Man, you used to only charge $20 for that same trimming. And I would say, yep. And I also only used to pay $2 per gallon of gas. That ship has sailed. We're paying $3.50, $4 a gallon of gas now. And I'm not working by myself anymore. I used to operate without insurance. So certain aspects, just with the economy and inflation, prices go up. When you start to delegate more, you hire more people, so it costs you more money to do business. And when it costs you more money to do business, you have to charge a little bit more. In business, though, you won't survive. Your root system will be compromised. Your foundation will be compromised. And once you have a compromised foundation, I think we saw how that played out in Miami a few years ago when the whole building collapsed because the foundation was compromised, and it took a whole, I don't remember, I think it was a 4, 5, 6-story condo complex, brought it down to the ground. That's what happens when you have a compromised foundation, a compromised root system. And so you want to be solid, and you only can be solid by strengthening that foundation. If it needs to be strengthened by concrete or shored up by the right base or anchors or cable supports. They do that to trees as well too. I haven't talked about it in the podcast, but I'll be talking about it more down the road. But there's some trees that maybe like live oaks that has codominant limbs. That has to be cabled and embraced to ensure the survival of that tree. I personally, as a company, I don't do cable and embracing, but one of my good buddies, Apollo O'Neill's, that will be coming on the show here in a few weeks or so. He specializes, and I guess we'll talk about that more when he's on the show, but he specializes in cable embracing to ensure not only the survival of the tree, but to protect the property or building or to safeguard the property so the tree doesn't fail and cause property damage. Things we can do to ensure a strong business, a strong foundation, is small things. One step at a time is small steps. You don't have to implement everything all in one day. We can start as simple as working 10 minutes a day uninterrupted at a time in 10-minute increments. Then we can increase it to 15-minute increments, uninterrupted time. Then it can be increased to 25 minutes uninterrupted, where we're focusing on one thing. And then the next thing, where we're putting into the time one step at a time versus trying to do it 8 or 10 hour day all in the first hour. It has to be spaced out, just like we shoot these shows, we don't shoot it all in one. It's not a live show. And if it was, it may turn into a comedic show sometimes with some of the mistakes that are made. No, it's done in increments, and through editing, we're able to take out the mistakes and still keep it authentic. because it's not AI that you're listening to. This is a real person. But we do it one step at a time. I write content throughout the day when the ideas come. And when I face situations on a daily basis, I always say, what's the lesson to be learned from what just happened? And as life throws its challenges, as the business throws its challenges, as trying to manage as a father and a business owner throws their challenges, I don't deal with them all at a time. I said, you know what? I'm going to table this and I'll address it tomorrow. Or if it needs my attention right away and a decision has to be made, I'll go into my little moment of silence. I say my prayer and trust that God led me to make the wisest decisions that needed to be made at that time. Do I make a perfect decision every time? Do I hear God correctly every time? Absolutely not. It'll be the biggest lie that a person can tell if they say they make all decisions right the first time. And it's through those mistakes and hardships that you learn from those mistakes, that you grow and you don't make those same mistakes again. And you face the new challenges and you learn from those new challenges and you move on and you go to another level from growing from those different challenges that are faced on a continuous basis. The Bible says we must die daily and pick up our cross and follow him. And it's through those challenges and it's through dying daily that we're able to move forward and build a solid foundation and build a successful business and a successful life in general, just by growing and learning from those mistakes that we made prior to being to the enlightened stage where we're at today. So as a part of keeping and maintaining a strong business, it is important, very important, to keep your vision clear. Is it important to not only keep your vision clear, but to continue to learn, understand the value of your business, constantly put good things into your mindset, reading the material. Again, it feels like I'm cheating when it comes to some of this stuff, because I read books, and one of my favorite books, as you already know, is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And one of the main things he says, hey, what you're thriving for, what do you want in life? What do you want your business to be like? And and it comes down to a strong mindset. And this is how you overcome conflict. This is how you overcome those bad days. It's that strong mindset. And strong mindset is a word that you hear frequently and often on this show, because that's what it takes at the end of the day. You can narrow your listening down and rewind this over and over again throughout different podcasts, and you're going to hear this one preached a lot, is having that mindset. You've heard guests come on this show and we talk about the mindset. And in fact, I was reading one of Michael Jordan's books, and that's what it's all about, is that mindset. You know, that strong mindset allowed him to miss, I think he said, over 8,000 or 9,000 shots out of the 10,000 shots that he made. And because of his strong mindset, he wasn't afraid to take the next shot. And that's what it comes down to, taking the next shot. And what is the next step for us? What is the next step for your business? What is the next step? Where do you go from there? How do you push yourself and catapult yourself to another level? How do you build a strong business? How do you build, maybe you have no desire for a business at all. You just want to be very good where you're at in life, at the company that you work for. How do you become a better employee? How do you get promoted to that job that you want within the job where you're already at? How do you do that? You ask yourself, what's the next step of how to get there? Well, one of the first steps is a strong mindset. Learn your job, do your job, understand what is it you do, and make yourself invaluable. When you go on vacation, do you want the place to go to a wreck? No, but you want to be missed when you're not there. Because if you take a week vacation and they operate better without you there, that's not good. That means they can do without you. but you have to be missed when you're not at work. Like things can't function the same way when you're not there. Yeah, people say, "Oh, you want a turnkey operation and you wanted to be a well-oiled machine when you're not there." Yeah, it sounds good, but at the end of the day, there's uh, uh, we we won't pick on Tom Brady because he retired, but we'll pick on the Super Bowl champions, Kansas City Chiefs. If he's not the starting quarterback, come game time, oh, you got problems. That's not the same team. And you got to realize that. When you're good at what you do, there's going to be problems when you're not there, period. I don't care how good the backup quarterback is. Unless the backup quarterback is Peyton Manning or Tom Brady, you got some problems when your star guy or person or woman or gal is not there. Why? Because the person that's the starter, he's the starter for a reason. And that's how good you want to be at what you do. You're going to be sorely missed. Yep. Are you going to lose the game? No, it remains to be seen. It's definitely going to be a different game plan. It's definitely going to be a different approach. You're definitely going to be attacked a different way as a team. But you have key people in key positions that earn the right to be in that position, unless it was given to them. And that happens too. People are given positions that they haven't earned, and it shows. Things don't operate the same when that happens. But our focus at any given time should be on us and what we can do. What benefit do we bring to the team? What do we bring to the table? How can we be an asset? How are we an asset to where we're at? Are we bringing value? Are we helping this company where we're at go to another level? And if you're not, if you don't think like that, hey, I never tell a person what they should and they shouldn't do. I'm focused on people that's trying to go to another level, trying to be great and not just good. And if you're that person, then this message is for you. How do I get to another level? Mr. Tucker, I don't want to own a business. I don't want to do this. I just want to be good at what I do. I want to be an asset where I'm at. Well, the starting place is you're already here. You're listening to this podcast. The second starting place is you're not just eating cookies and chips all the time. You're throwing some vegetables in that diet. You're throwing more protein in that diet. What is vegetables and protein in layman terms? You're reading books. You're listening to podcasts. You're adding laughter in there. Laughter is good. Laughter is good medicine. You're throwing that into the mix. You're balancing your plate. You're balancing your life by adding more than junk in your life, by adding more than just milkshakes and cookies and cakes and pies. That stuff is good, but there's a balance to it. You can't eat it for 3 square meals a day because it's going to cause some health issues. It's going to cause some health problems for you, and that's not going to benefit you in the long run. So you have to catapult yourself by bringing balance. How do you bring balance? You bring balance, vitamins, supplements, or just eating all natural vegetables and herbs and stuff that's going to help your body produce at a higher level than not adding those to your diet. When you do nothing, then you get nothing. If you don't add the supplements that you need for your body to survive, then your body is not going to function in the manner that it could be. In my conclusion, operating a business can almost be similar to operating your life as a whole. You have to stabilize and be efficient, not in everything, but you want to be efficient with your foundation. And in any business, the foundation is financial. So you have to find a way to operate efficiently financially. That brings in budgeting and planning. You have to operate efficiently with your moral compass, your moral stance on building your company or your life around people, doing right by people, making right decisions for people that's going to benefit people indirectly and indirectly. And that's it in a nutshell. It's not as complicated as it seems. It's like you get up and brush your teeth and wash your face in the morning, you got fresh breath and you don't have crust in your eyes. If you don't, you got bad breath and people just don't want to be around you. It's like, man, did you talk to such and such this morning? Did you notice anything strange? Did his breath burn the hair out of your nose? You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that person. You know, you make it comfortable to be around yourself. You know, sometimes you get in a hurry and you forget, and you remember real fast, like, oh, I forgot something. You taste that stench in your breath, you're like, oh man, I can't believe I did that, and you run back in the house and makes you bump those gums with your toothbrush. Yeah, that's called being efficient with just doing the simple things in life. And when you can be efficient in those simple things, greater things will come. Something simple as washing your car. I know you might have heard me say this before. I don't know if I said it on the podcast, but those of you know me. If you take care of the simple things that you can do, maybe you don't have time to wash that car. Who cares? Go to the car wash or hire somebody to come to you to do it. Why? That's the simple things of something that you already invested in. And so the thing is, when you invest in something, you take care of it. Some people put insurance on it. Well, it's mandatory to put insurance on your car. It's not mandatory if you own your house to have house insurance, but I don't know too many people that don't have house insurance. Maybe wealthy people that, hey, if something happens, we just pay cash for it. But even that's not a smart decision, in my humble opinion. But that's just that. A foundation, you heard me talk about this in last week's episode. A foundation is key to any business. You have to identify what your business needs, what makes your business tick, what are the challenges in that business, and how can you sustain in an ever-changing economy. It's the same with your personal life. What makes my wife tick? What makes her happy? What can I do for the children? How can I raise these children? What can I do to help their life better? What can we do to have fun? What's the next step? What are we going to do on summer break? What are we going to do when school starts back? When do we start shopping? You have to have this conversation within so you can have a plan. You can't just be in love watching TV, having a favorite TV show, and like, oh, my episode, oh, I can't wait the football season come back. For what? To throw away more money? Going to games? I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with watching football, but life has to be more than a sport game. What are you doing for your future? What are you doing to ensure that you go to another level in your life? The problem is people dwell and they stay in the wrong place too long, dwelling on what they don't have and what they want to have, but they're not willing to do some of the simple things to have it. What are the simple things you can do to have it? What's the next thing? What's your next step? Are you going to start that business that you want? Are you going to write that book? Are you going to sing that song? Or are you going to die with your music within? You don't have to. What steps are you going to take to go to another level? What steps? What's your next step? What's the plan? I don't need to know it personally. This is for you. What's your next step? You've been saying, oh, I'm going to start this restaurant. I'm going to write this book. I'm going to do it. When? The year of the rat? Or when? Today can be the first day that you take a step to do it. It's up to you. Hey, I appreciate your time for today. I appreciate you tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You can visit us on ljtucker.com for more information on the book release, 7,000 Volts, Living an Electrified Life. Hey, thank you for joining. Have a great day.